Hello and welcome to another video. I'm Everett Hoffman, and today I'm going to tell you what a DSLR camera is, what does it mean, and how does it work. So if you're new to photography and you're looking to buy your very first camera, you've probably at least typed the word camera in your web browser and quickly realized that there's a shitload of cameras out there. But the chances are you've probably seen the abbreviation DSLR in front of the word camera, and you're probably wondering, what does DSLR mean and how is that different than a mirrorless camera? So first, what does DSLR stand for? DSLR stands for Digital Single Lens Reflex. And all that's letting you know is that there's a mechanism inside of your camera. And that mechanism is an arm that sits over your camera's sensor. And what that arm does is it will swing up and out of the way when you're taking a photo, and then it will swing back down when you're not taking a photo. For example, if this hand is my camera sensor and this hand is the mechanism, then when I'm not taking a photo, it covers the camera sensor, and when I do take a photo, it will swing up and out of the way, and then it will swing back down when I'm not taking a photo. So to better illustrate what I'm talking about, I have my DSLR camera right here. Let me go ahead and turn it on. So that mechanism lives right in the center here. It's that little shiny piece that's covering the sensor. And right now that mechanism is closed, and that's because I'm not taking a photo. So let me go ahead and show you what it looks like when I do take a photo. So right now it's closed, and when I press the shutter button, that mechanism is gonna lift up and you're gonna be able to see the image sensor, and then it's gonna close down when the image is done. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. So there's an example of the single reflex that this camera does when it's taking a photo. Now, when that mechanism is lifting up, we are able to see the image sensor. And when we do this, we're allowing light to come through the lens, and that light is going to hit the image sensor, which is right here, giving us the photo that we're trying to take. And then when the photo is over, this mechanism is going to swing back down, covering the image sensor because the photo is over, and it's shielding the sensor from any light. So the single most important thing about the swinging arm mechanism is what's located on the swinging arm mechanism, and that is a mirror. Now the mirror is located right here. So if you can see where the light's reflecting, that's where the mirror is located. Now the way this works is when I have a lens on here, the lens allows light through, and that light bounces off of the mirror, allowing me to see what I'm looking at through the viewfinder. So when I'm looking through the viewfinder, I'm basically looking at a reflection of the image that I'm seeing. So what are the pros and cons of using a DSLR camera? Hold on, let me just makes me nervous. Okay. Pro, if you want something that's a little heavier or a little thicker and just a camera that you can really hold on to, then a DSLR camera might be for you. And that's because DSLR cameras are always going to be a little bit bigger than mirrorless cameras, and that's because they have to make room for this mechanism that sits on top of the sensor. So if you're into a heavier camera, then you might want to go with a DSLR camera. Pro, I don't have to turn on the camera to see what I'm looking at. Now this can be extremely useful if you're really trying to save battery life. Now all I have to do is have a lens on the camera, and the lens cap has to be off, and then that lens is going to allow light through, and that image is going to hit the mirror that's in the camera, and that image is going to be reflected onto my viewfinder. And I don't have to have the camera on to see through the viewfinder, so that way I can arrange the photo and see what I want to see, all without having to turn on the camera. So it's really just a battery saver. Pro, I don't have to worry about cleaning my image sensor as much, and that's because the mechanism sits over the image sensor, protecting my image sensor from dust and debris and anything that could be floating around when I'm doing a lens change. So let me just put a lens on here. Turn on the camera. Okay, so if I do a lens change, it's going to close the mechanism protecting my camera sensor. So you hear that? Now the image sensor is being protected by the mechanism, and now I can put another lens on. So I don't have to worry about all the dust and the dirt that could get on my image sensor because that mechanism closes down, protecting my image sensor. Con: the DSLR cameras are slightly bigger and heavier, and if you're looking for something that's more lightweight and that has a thinner body, then you might as well go with a mirrorless camera. Con: this thing is loud. If you want to be a nature photographer or do street photography or candid photos and you don't want animals to hear you, then this thing is not going to help you at all. I mean, listen to this thing. It's going to do that every single time you take a photo, and that's because the mechanism is opening and shutting every time you take a photo. So if you want more silent shooting, you might as well go with a mirrorless camera. Con: what you see through your viewfinder is not always going to be the same result as the end photo. And that's because before the photo is taken, you're looking at it through a reflection from that mirror. And then when you get your end photo, the photo could be slightly overexposed or underexposed or even slightly out of focus compared to what you saw through the reflection from that mirror. Now, I haven't really had this problem in my photography, but I know some other people have, so it's worth noting. So that about wraps up what a DSLR camera is. If you have any questions about DSLR cameras, or if you're looking at getting a specific DSLR camera and you want to know my opinion on it, let me know in the comments below. Tune in next week when I cover what a mirrorless camera is. As always, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Skiddly bop that bell to be notified when I post another video. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one.